Well, hey fans, welcome back to another movie review, and today we're talking about Michael. So Michael is a semi-biographical musical drama directed by Antoine Fuqua, starring Jaafar Jackson, Colman Domingo, Nia Long, and many other names. And this is a biopic about Michael Jackson, the biggest pop star of our time. It follows him from his early childhood up until right when he breaks away from the Jackson 5 and goes on a solo career. Now, I am a big Michael Jackson fan, really big Michael Jackson fan. Grew up listening to all of his music. My aunt, who's a bigger Michael Jackson fan than me, went on a trip across the country one time. She brought all her Michael Jackson CDs. Me and my cousins, we bought CD players. That's all we listened to. Off the Wall, Thriller, all of his albums as we traveled across the country. We actually stopped in Gary, Indiana. I actually have a picture in front of the original Jackson house. Like I said, I'm a big fan of his music, and I was really excited to see what Lionsgate was going to do with this film. Now, growing up, The Jacksons and American Dream, that is the Jackson biopic I'm very familiar with and that I really enjoy. I can watch it again to this day. And I want to see how much of his life in this movie will mirror what we saw in that biopic. And basically, it is that miniseries condensed into a movie, and they just put more focus on Michael. And if you like Michael Jackson, if you like his music, you're going to like this movie. You're really going to enjoy it. Our screening was in IMAX, and a lot of Michael Jackson's fans, and this is just proves how big Michael Jackson is, a lot of his fans did not actually grow up with Michael Jackson. They listened to it with their parents, their grandparents. They saw him on TV, and so they kind of knew about him later. They weren't actually alive during the height of his fame in the 80s and early 90s. So if you never got the chance to experience a Jackson 5 concert or a Michael Jackson concert, seeing this movie in theaters, in an IMAX theater, is like living that experience. It was great. The music was great. The people were singing the songs behind me. It was wonderful. Now, in terms of film, I think Antoine Fuqua does a decent job directing. I think the choreography is pretty good. Cinematography is pretty decent, especially when they're recreating some of his music videos. I really did enjoy that. It is very light on story, I would say, or in detail story. It is more like a bunch of clips, a bunch of vignettes of Michael's life tied together by some of his issues with his father, Joseph, and him trying to break away from the family and start his own solo career, like I said earlier. And I wish we got a little more involved in some of these decisions he was making, even some of these things he was doing, a little more involved. There's a great scene where I think he's shooting one of his music videos, and he has the Bloods and the Crips there, and he's talking to him about how he thinks music can bring people together and how he wants them to be a part of his music video. He's showing them his choreography skills and his dance moves. That was a great scene in the movie. There's another time where he's shooting Thriller, and we get a little bit about how he's like, hey, I want the camera to actually show my full body, and then they go into the Thriller shoot again, and that's pretty much the end of that. I think we could have gone more into Thriller. When he's making the album Thriller, I think we could have gone more into why he's choosing certain songs. We get a whole thing about basically why he chose Thriller as the name of the album. He didn't want to name the album Michael. The label wanted him to name the album just Michael, but he wanted to make it different. But if we could have had him recording, Human Nature and all these other songs, what made him choose the beats, what made him use the fade outs, we had a little bit more of that, I think it would have made it slightly more enjoyable to me. And I understand the family wants to paint him in a positive light. And there's nothing about, in this section of Michael's life, it is all positive light. There's nothing really bad. Of course, the ending they had to change because it was going to go into the accusations leading into that. But they changed it to more, like I said, the Jackson's American Dream, the final tour he took with his brothers, that's where they ended it. And I just think I could have used a little more. I wanted to know a little more. Bubbles is in the movie. Bubbles is cute. It's a CG Bubbles. Bubbles is really cute. And another thing that it bugged me a little bit about this movie. The only Jacksons you see are Michael, 4 of his brothers, and LaToya. No Janet, no Reby, no Randy. A lot of the siblings are missing. And I understand some of the siblings weren't really happy about a lot of decisions being made on the film. They didn't really want to take part in it. But I still think, even if you don't name those characters, put a little more kids in the background, and we can kind of guess, okay, they're the rest of his siblings coming in and out of frame. But them being missing, it really felt off. It didn't really feel like the full family was there. Now, they are probably gonna make a sequel if this does well, And hopefully, as adults, some of those family members who are shockingly missing from this movie just appear as adults. That would be great. In terms of acting, I think Colman Domingo does a really good job as Joseph. I think he might get an Oscar nomination for this role. The makeup they put on him is fantastic. It looks a lot like, if you've seen pictures of Joseph Jackson, they did their best to make him look like that. Miles Teller was good too. Jaafar Jackson as Michael. Fantastic. Fantastic. He is Jermaine's son, Michael's nephew, and I think he did a good job. They say he did a good job like studying the film, working on the dance moves, and it shows in this movie. He looks and moves and sounds just like him, and I think he did a wonderful job. Will he get an Oscar nomination? There's a lot of movies coming out this year, and especially since he's the lead. I don't think he's gonna get it. It's his first time acting. He's playing his uncle. I don't know if they're gonna give him in there. This movie, I think, may get some nominations. Like I said, Colman Domingo will. Jaafar may not, but I still think he's great. And if they do make a sequel, I think that would be the way. If this is good as this one, for them to squeeze him in terms of a nomination. But yeah, I mean, if you like Michael Jackson, I think you will pretty much enjoy this movie. And I hope it does well. I hope it does well because I do want to see a sequel. If they do make a sequel, they should name it The King of Pop. And it would be a nice duology for you to watch. So in terms of a score, I'm going to give Michael a decent 8.9 out of 10. It did warm my heart in watching this movie. On my way home, I watched the Thriller video. I just had to watch again. I had to hear the music. I listened to a lot of the songs in the car. And again, this movie is going to play to those who are Michael Jackson fans and those who maybe are just interested in musical biopics. Now, I think Bohemian Rhapsody is currently the highest grossing biopic of all time, like over 900 million. This has the potential to crack $1 billion. It has the potential. I'm not saying it will, but boy, if it does, that would be fantastic. Oh, and last thing, there is a reference to Prince. It's in this movie. I like stuff like that. I wanted more about, his rivalry with Prince that they only very slightly touch on. And Mike Myers is in this movie. And if you have seen Tropic Thunder, Tom Cruise's Les Grossman, how a lot of people didn't know that was him. Mike Myers, when he appears in this movie, I don't think you're going to recognize that as Mike Myers, but he's fantastic in the short role that he has. I loved it. I'd like to thank you guys again for joining me for this movie review. Remember, you can find the full review on YouTube and the website, flipfrogllc.com/flicksfrog. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Reddit. And please, pretty please, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I'll be seeing you.